Greetings, members one and all of the Salivation Nation. It's not too often that I take silver price predictions very seriously, especially if they are over the top triple-digit silver calls for the next 6 to 12 months. But there's one exception that I've seen here lately that has caught my eye because it is in 3 phases and it is very reasonable in terms of where they think silver is going to go next year. So let's talk about that and why as we explore. You know, there's a lot of different reasons why people make predictions for the price of silver. A lot of it is founded upon speculative nature of things, but this one is about what is already happening now and the history of where silver is compared to gold. And that is the gold to silver ratio. And that is something that Citibank has made a prediction about. And what we've seen that silver is undervalued compared to gold historically. And the gold to silver ratio, I look at it in terms of the average, where it has been over the last 5 months, 5 years, and 10 years. And if you look at that, well, we are pretty much into a new phase of normalcy with the gold to silver ratio. But that normalcy is higher than it has been in the past decade. What does that mean? It means that we can expect the gold to silver ratio to remain high. But even as such, most analysts believe that it is unusually high now. And so that means that it is undervalued compared to gold. And I believe that understanding that it has industrial applications and silver has a dual role, how that could play out. And that's what Citigroup recognizes. The other thing is the demand that we're seeing for silver in India, which you've heard me talk about multiple times on this channel. There's strong physical demand for silver in India, traditionally one of the big markets for precious metals, and with the gift-giving festival season on the way, demand from this country could rise further, well into 2023. I've talked about that before as well. And so that is something that we're looking at. And so what about this 3-phase price prediction? Well, Citi first thinks that the bank's analysis comes with a warning that tough background conditions, including a strong U.S. dollar, and with continued rate hikes by the Fed, even if they pivot a bit, could see silver fall further in the short term, perhaps as low as $16 an ounce before rebounding. I actually disagree with that probably the most. I don't think it's going to get that low. I think we are seeing higher lows now and more resistance to falling silver prices to that amount. Although we could see it fall slightly below $20. That's my view. That's probably the one area where I disagree with them on. The next phase is they feel that silver's forecast for the beginning through the first half of next year could be as high as $22 an ounce, which is fairly close to where we are now. So we may not see a lot of activity in the silver market rise much above that. Now, it could go teeter-totter up and down from that level, but it probably will average around $22 an ounce. To me, that is a very safe bet to where silver could be. And I believe that will essentially give it that floor and foundation for what they think that silver could go to by the end of the year in 2023. Because this metal, I tell you what, it has really been on a rocky and shaky ride over the past year here. We saw it go as high as $26 an ounce in 2022 upon the invasion of Ukraine by Russia. And so they think that it's going to return possibly to $25 an ounce. And that is a very realistic assessment of where silver could be in the second half of next year. I actually think it'll go higher than that. What do I think silver will go to? Stay tuned as I do my price prediction analysis towards the beginning of 2023 or the end of 2022. But nonetheless, I have been wrong before in my predictions, but I'm still more bullish than $25 an ounce. But I think this is very much a possibility, and I think it's a prediction we should take seriously as we head into next year. There's a lot of different factors that can weigh in on silver's price. And then one of those is silver production and demand from that production. And I think that is actually a bullish sign for silver, which is a relatively controversial point of view. But it's also in regards to finding new deposits of silver. And that's where this sponsored portion of the video comes in from Silver Mountain Resources Incorporated. And they are a silver exploration and mine developer company with a U.S. stock listed as AGMRF. They are a newly minted initial public offering with a lot going for them right out of the starting gate, especially since the stock is trading at less than half of the pre-IPO price. So there's several reasons to consider Silver Mountain Resources. Number one, Eric Sprott, who is the self-made billionaire, is known to be the most successful silver investor and has already 3.4% ownership, which amounts to $2.3 million in the company. Then we have Franklin Templeton, who is the direct competitor of BlackRock and one of the largest asset managers in the world. They own a position twice as large as Eric Sprott's, with $5 million invested in a stake of just over 5% of the company. It is rare, if not unheard of, for a company like Franklin Templeton to get this deeply invested with a junior silver company. In such an early stage, it shows insane trust in quality of the management. On top of that, there's a lot of insider buying going on now with the price as low as it is. The third reason is management comes from South America's most successful mining dynasty. In 2011, Jose Vizquierra left Peru, and the company founded by his grandfather, a New York Stock Exchange listed mining giant with a $1.5 billion market capitalization, to become an entrepreneur on his own. So I don't know many that would choose to walk away from such a comfortable structure, save for a very ambitious person. So he negotiated the merger of 4 mining companies that went from $10 million to a $1.5 billion venture in just 7 years. Wow. So Jose and his family, they have invested $4.5 million of their own money in the company. And that company, Silver Mountain Resources, owns 80 million equivalent ounces of silver resource. So that's $13 million worth of, with that 80 million ounces equals 16 cents per ounce. Whereas the industry standard, the median price for silver ounces in the ground is $2.80 per ounce, which means that as of this moment, these resources are priced for 94.4% below the average. So think of that as almost a 95% discount to market. Silver Mountain Resources owns Reliquias in Peru, a silver asset with 81 million historical ounces, and it has over $20 million in cash, which allow it to advance the past producer mine back to operation. The property is fully permitted. If another company wants to take a project into production, starting from scratch, it would take them 10 years. If the company wants to acquire a past producer and get it permitted, it takes 2 to 3 years. So they are well ahead. Finally, as a bonus, Rick Rule himself has 1.4% ownership in the company. Given all that, it is still an under-the-radar opportunity with huge upside potential, with the most exceptional silver opportunity in the public markets. And so that is really exciting to hear. But as is always the case, even though in this situation they are very well positioned, but still there is risk involved with a silver mining exploration company. But they've got the management, they've got the financing, they've got the backing. They just have to get in there and get to work. But nonetheless, it is an opportunity for sure, but there is risk involved. These types of stocks for mining exploration company are not for everyone, and it is obviously highly encouraged to do your own due diligence and research on this company. I'm going to put a link in the description below to their website. I encourage you to take a strong look. A very well laid out website and information there. You can look at their corporate presentation, and feel free to contact them with any questions and research the stock on your own. So there is some good predictions that have come out. This is the second one that I've talked about with Citigroup about the price of silver and where it could go next year. There's a lot of good reasons to be bullish on silver in general, and I am. I know a lot of people say that with some of the things that I've talked about with silver, I do like to be realistic on the metal itself, but I am bullish on silver, and I believe in it as a store of value, and I think this prediction is well thought out from Citibank. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. Would like to extend a multitude of gratitude to you all for taking the time to watch, and to encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.